Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, the speech I am giving today is project number 3 from the Legacy Advanced Manual Interpretive Reading called The Monodrama. The monodrama that I will be reading is Chapter 8 from Part 1 of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, published in 1971, is a work of fiction, but it is based on some incidents that really happened. In 1971, Hunter Thompson, a journalist living in Los Angeles, got an assignment to write captions for a photo essay about an off-road motorcycle race that was to be held in the desert outside Las Vegas. He called up a friend of his, an attorney named Oscar Acosta, and they drove to Las Vegas. And Thompson spent a little bit of time watching the race, but mostly he and Acosta, whom he refers to as Dr. Gonzo, took drugs and behaved irresponsibly all around town. Halfway through the book, Thompson starts back to Los Angeles, but then returns to Las Vegas to cover a National District Attorneys Association conference on dangerous drugs, and more drug use and more irresponsible behavior ensue. So on one level, it is a wonderfully comic description of some amazingly bad behavior. But what is it really about? I read an article in a magazine about 25 years ago that attempted to define the new canon, and that article started me thinking about this book. The old canon is that list of books that every educated person in our culture is expected to have read and absorbed something from. Shakespeare, Dante, Goethe, and so on. But making a list like that leads to the question of what books are we producing nowadays that should have that same status. I don't remember what modern classics it proposed, but I do remember a sidebar to the article listing some works that the author felt very strongly should not be considered, in case anyone was tempted. In the end, the only thing that I really remember from that article was the assertion that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in no way deserved to be in the new canon, because it was just an account of drunken frat boy antics. Now, I have been a drunken frat boy, and I have engaged in some antics, and I felt that there was something to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas that was a little more meaningful, and I will try to explain what that was. After some reflection, I decided that the deeper meaning of the book could be best understood by considering two of its components. One was the book's epigraph, the quote at the very beginning, which is from Samuel Johnson. "He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man." I don't think that anyone who reads Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas will argue with the idea that the author and his friend make beasts of themselves. The text has a lot of description of their behavior using some very beastly imagery. The question remains, however, in what way did Hunter Thompson feel the pain of being a man? And it is to answer this question that I will say something about the other crucial passage, Part 1, Chapter 8. So let me set the stage for the chapter in a few words. Thompson has come back to the hotel room and found his attorney, Dr. Gonzo, in the bathtub, thoroughly twisted on LSD. They have a very tense confrontation involving a cassette tape player, a Jefferson Airplane album, a grapefruit, and an extremely sharp knife. And it ends with Dr. Gonzo back in the bathtub and Thompson out in the hotel room, where he sits down and starts reminiscing about the failure of the 1960s counterculture movement to effect lasting change on American society. After Woodstock and the Summer of Love, somehow Richard Nixon has become president, and the war in Vietnam is still raging. This was the source of Hunter Thompson's pain, and I hope you will understand it once I've read Chapter 8 of Part 1 of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.